Hey everyone, welcome to another Affinity Podcast. I'm joined today by Sunit, who's almost coming to an end to his 6 month journey. And yeah, I was wanted to share his progress so far and how he's achieved it. He is about, well, almost hitting his target of 20 kgs. We are at 18.5 as of yesterday, which is really, really good. And he's still got another three weeks or so to finishing 2025 and the program. So it's a good time to catch up with him and how his journey's been, thoughts, mindset, and all that. So, Sunit, if you can introduce yourself and yeah,
Thank you very much, bro. Like you said, my name's Sunit. I'm 26 years old, live and work in London. Born and bred in the area of British Gujarati background. Came across Vinay, Nikhil and the team online when I saw a few other friends that were following the platform and the page and stuff, and saw the results and was like, I need to get involved. I work in a high-paced environment, so I work in investment banking. So I'm traveling a lot for work, working late hours, working, really dodgy shifts sometimes as well. And so needed to sort of fix up my sort of personal life, put a stamp in the ground in terms of what I want to achieve, and sort of build a program and sort of a lifestyle that is better suited for me and the chaotic environment that I'm constantly surrounded by.
yeah. Because I remember when you first kind of, we'd spoken a call, you're like, mate, I don't get home till like 8, 7, 8, like it's late, and no time for gym and all that. So your lifestyle is quite, and you don't have kids and not married yet. So it's like, a heavy
Yeah.
banking kind of role. That all said, right? If you were to describe like, yes, you found us on Instagram and you had friends do it or family members do it and you come across, what was your reason of reaching out to say, you know what, actually, in 2025, I want to take this step and sort my health out.
Yeah.
Why us? Why did you get into it? What was your why of triggering saying, oh shit, I need to do this now?
Mm. So a couple of things for me, to be honest with you. So the first thing was family and environment. So my mum and dad are now in their mid 60s. They're very much on a health flex. They're appreciative of like life and the finer things, and also just being healthy and being in that mindset of wanting to be the best of themselves despite their
Yeah,
age. I'm, like I said, 26 years old now, and I was like, damn, this is giving me the kick and the motivation to really kickstart my life and sort of get fixed at an age now where, the change in the sort of miles you put in when you're younger make a bigger difference. So that was sort of reason number one. I had family around me that was sort of on a health. They were also, like I said, really keen to sort of be healthy and stay healthy. Two was also my lifestyle. So
yeah,
you touched on it a little bit, Vinay, but I work sort of call it like 70, 80 plus hours a week. I'm traveling every other week abroad, whether it's for a day or 2 days here and there. I'm in and out of meetings across London the entire day.
mm,
And, sometimes when you're very young, which I'd still say it's very easy to sort of lose track of sort of life and get engrossed in the moment. So, I put a stamp in the ground and said, look, I had a quarter life crisis at 25. I was like, look, I need to fix up. I'm here. I'm at a young age. I'm doing well. And, there's no reason for me to not look after my health and prioritize my health just as much as I was prioritizing the hours in the office. So I'd say they were the two main drivers for me, the family background and the motivation to sort of be in check and in gear and have that support around me, and to also live a really sort of, structured and sort of healthy lifestyle despite
yeah.
the chaos around it.
So basically, like just sort it out now, rather than later as well, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah,
and I think you touched on it a bit with crazy lifestyle in terms of work. Um, and we find that a lot of people we work with, yes, we work with a balance of people. Like, I work with a lot of moms, couples, and everything. But other people we work with as well are working in environments where it's like higher pace. I don't have time. I don't have time because my
mm,
work's taking a lot out of me. And if you think about it, you spend more time at work than you do at home anyway, right? You'll come
yeah,
7 in the morning, you're like, okay, yes, you must start work at 8, but as you say, you travel into the city and stuff. That takes an hour, hour and a half. Get there,
yeah,
then you're coming back, and you'll come back all the way home like 8, 9 o'clock. Then dinner's late, and the whole lifestyle is just crap, basically.
mm,
Or you'd have then social events or mates like after work. You know what? You're gonna grab a beer, happy hour kind of thing. And I feel like that kind of lifestyle is coming back after COVID again. Because COVID obviously
mm,
calmed down, but everyone's kind of
yeah,
just
yeah.
like a bit. getting out of it. And then, yes, everyone went through a phase of like, shit, let's all get fit and healthy because we're home now. Everyone's
Yeah, yeah.
walking out, everyone's pairing up in twos and going for walks and stuff. And people kind of stopped that a little bit, I feel.
Mm,
And now everything is just back to how can I get it done the quickest kind of thing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um, you kind of touched on a bit just work and stuff, but if you were to describe one day before joining Affinity, what would a typical day in your life look like? Like wake up to hit the bed again.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a very good question because that's actually changed quite a lot since I've sort of joined the program and sort of,
Yeah.
I guess, revitalized my lifestyle. So, I'm probably up most days by 7 a.m. That generally hasn't changed in terms of timing of when I am awake. I will then sort of get ready for work, like you say, have the hour commute into the office.
Hmm.
And then very quickly it's heads down. It's heads down in the office, sort of figure out what I need to get done for the day, set a plan and so forth, and work through the hours. I'll try and scrape in a quick like sandwich or a prep here and
Hmm.
there when I can without looking at what time that's going to be. Just see what's the closest thing based on where I am in the meeting or where like what time of day it is even, and carry on working. You know, some people will be able to relate to this, maybe others less so, but I'm often in the office past the traditional sort of dinner time, right? So 6, 7 p.m. is, I'm still in the office largely trying to wrap things up. Then by the time I'd get home, sort of 8, 8:30 or so, then it's, super tired by that point in time. Do I even want to go to the gym that day? Do I not want
Yeah.
to go to the gym? What social plans do I have that evening? Or, like you say, as someone said, like, let's get a beer tonight, whatever, then have dinner at like sort of 9:30, 10, right? And then sort of, rest and repeat this entire cycle, right? And,
Yeah.
I was getting probably 5 or 6 hours of sleep a day, unplanned meals throughout the day, making excuses for the fact I don't have time for the gym through that whole period, being like, oh, it's 8:30, I can't go to the gym now. Gym closes at 10 or like
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? That's what it was like before. And I think my lifestyle has changed a lot whilst well, it's changed in the areas I can allow it to change, right?
Yeah.
Some things in my lifestyle just, I can't change, which, other people would probably say the same for their lives. For example, I have a certain number of things to get done in the day work wise, certain number of meetings. I can't control that. But what I have started to control and change is, the minor things around that, right? Like,
Yeah.
what am I eating in the day? Even if I don't have access to like something in advance, where are my meetings that day? What is around where those meetings are in London, where I know I can calorie count and track and get the food
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
need for my body? What days do I have early meetings? What days do I have late meetings? What days can I go to the gym in the morning? What days can I go to the gym in the evening? And I
Yeah.
sort of provided structure around a really crazy lifestyle. So whilst I'm still working really hard and sort of trying to make the best for myself and, trying to do what I can. I've sort of brought in structure with easy wins throughout the day, which sometimes you don't even realize, right? I
Hmm.
mean, you and I have obviously spoken about that so much, but there's so many little things you can do here and there, which has like completely changed how I do that, right? And to give you one example, like I said, meetings in London throughout the day or meetings in another European city throughout the day. If it's now, I've set a golden rule. If it's less than half an hour and I've got the time between those two meetings, I'll walk
Yeah.
between those meetings. Rain, snow, or shine, there's nothing an umbrella and a good pair of trainers can't fix, right? And you get towards those steps, right? You get the steps in, you get your body active, and even if it's then a non-gym day and you've had a busy day, at least you've got your steps in, right? You're active, even if it's not sort of consciously, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of things have changed about the lifestyle, and I think it's for the good.
And you kind of hit, actually, you've kind of like you speaking about it kind of makes me feel like, oh shit, you know what? He actually changed his life around quite a bit. Um, where would you say you're at right now? If you're to kind of, if I was to give you a minute to brag about yourself, where you're at, how's stuff now? Family, relationships, just general like energy,
Yeah,
lifestyle, where the weights are, where you started at to where you are now. How do you feel
yeah,
losing that much weight and all those kind of things? What are people saying to you? Because you just literally
yeah,
came back from a holiday. You just literally came back from Germany as well. Before that, you're away as well. It's just like you're managing all that,
yeah,
but you till yesterday you're at your lowest weight still.
yeah. No, it's a really good question, and I'll start like high level. High level, number one thing is lifestyle. Honestly, like I can't explain this enough, but it's a change in a mindset and a change in a lifestyle of how to lead your life. Just because you are now looking at what you're eating actively or more importantly, not looking at what you shouldn't eat, right? That doesn't mean you can't enjoy your life. You can't see your friends. You can't have time with your family. You can't travel. You can't do this. You can't do that, right? In my shoes, like I mentioned, I traveled quite a lot for work, but I also traveled a lot personally. My my other half, didn't live very nearby me, so I was often
Yeah,
on the road, like the weekends or here or there, like on a train, going to see her and whatnot, or seeing her family or whatever it may be, right? That doesn't mean you can't sort of have that shift in lifestyle and be like, oh, there's a Burger King at King's Cross. That means I have to have a Burger King for my dinner, right? Like that's not how it works, right? So like the shift for me, the biggest shift has been that lifestyle and mindset shift of knowing that like, you know, putting in the hard yards now makes a big difference in the long run. So lifestyle number one, what is that like translated to for me on a day to day? I mean, the obvious one is the weight. I think the weight has, I've dropped a lot of weight. I've lost a lot of fat, which was just building up because of and it comes back to that sort of lifestyle point, sort of not prioritizing what is good for me and what's not good for me, and it's the little changes. So I've seen a big shift
yeah.
in the weight. The energy as well is a big thing. I'm eating clean. I'm eating well. I know what to eat and what not to eat, and that's been an experience actually because, and this is a personal experience for me, just because one food is good for someone doesn't necessarily mean it's good for someone else as well, right? Like, prime example, peppers, for example, it's going to sound really stupid, but like bell peppers,
Yeah.
you'd think naturally very healthy for you, great, and good source of food as well. And I completely think that. But for me, bell peppers make me feel really bloated, and they don't give me anywhere near as much energy. So whilst on this journey, I've kind of figured out what food is good for my body and what food I should avoid for my body as well. And it's that whole journey and that change in lifestyle and change in
Yeah.
mindset, which has ultimately led to me being in a position where I'm now a lot fitter, a lot healthier, and more importantly, still happy, right? I feel energetic. I feel like I can still go about my day-to-day tasks. I haven't lost anything from that side. And, it's also a shift in like people around you, right? Now people like see me and are like, Sunit's pretty healthy. He's pretty on top of what he's eating. He's like, well, actually, I'm not sure he will eat this, or they're actively thinking about it before I even need to mention it, right, bro? Like, from a Gujarati background, right? It's very easy to be like, oh, bhajia this, or
Dokra, yeah.
dhokra this, or jalebi this or that, right? And all of a sudden it's a shift just of people around you. I think I mentioned my parents are already on a good health flex, but broader family, friends, this, that, the other. It's just a conscious shift in sort of
Yeah.
still enjoying things, but enjoying things in moderation while still being healthy and on top of everything else.
Because I remember you saying when you first started, as you said, right? Mrs. used to live quite far, used to travel, then you go to the parents' house, and you're like, oh, when I remember the first time you told me, like, oh, there's dokra. I'm like, yo, you can't be eating that, like, all the time. I'm not saying don't eat it. I'm not saying be that person. A lot of people feel like, you know what, it's a bit rude to do that. You can't go to,
Mm,
especially in our culture, you can't go to someone else's
yeah,
house and be like, yeah, Kyle, I'm not eating that food now. I'm like, look, we used to understand that you're not being rude, you're being telling you in a way where like, you know what, if you went to that person's house and you told a white lie and said, my belly's a bit upset around, they're not gonna feed it to you. It's not
yeah,
hurting, but it's not.
yeah,
But if you're in
yeah,
your mindset of like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna have one piece of tokri. But I said, I think the first time you went, you kind of be mindful, and then after that, you've been hundreds of times, and you've been
yeah,
fine with it, and they will learn eventually as well to say, okay, crap, this guy means
yeah, yeah,
business as well. Yes, so twice they might be like, oh, why is he saying no? He doesn't want to eat it because he used to eat it before. The third
mm,
time, by the time you go, they're like, oh no, it looks a bit different. Okay, cool. Like it's working, and you've not kind of hidden that from them that you're on the journey, which is quite good. And
yeah,
I literally tell all my clients as well, like, be proud that yes, everyone's at a different stage, mentally and physically. But some people keep it to themselves. I'm on this journey, and
yeah,
once I
yeah,
get the results, I'll kind of show it. But
yeah,
I feel that becomes harder because people around you don't see it, and then they're like, as
mm,
you said, right? Your close friends and family is if they didn't know you're on this, they'll be bombarding you with like, oh, Sonny, have one more drink, have one more, and you're pressured, and it's
yeah,
building up,
yeah,
and you're like, crap, I need to like lay it out, and eventually you're good.
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
if you kind
exactly
of
that.
say, yeah, this is what I'm doing, I'm being held, you don't need to tell them you've joined a program. You say, I'm being mindful of what I'm eating,
Mm,
and just stand your ground. And that's the
yeah,
biggest thing I think you've done, which is really, really good. Where, as you said, busy lifestyle, work, things. traveling. Like I think there was one point in time where you're traveling like one day here, one day there, one day here, one day
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
literally. And I'm like, yeah, what did you do? I'm like, well, walk around the airport, pick the better foods. Whereas before you would have just gone, I just had Burger King or wherever's there, fast food, easy to
yeah,
eat,
yeah,
and
exactly.
just eat it. Yes, you go to your W Smith and pick up a sandwich. Yeah, it's healthy, but then you pick up fizzy drink, and then you pick up chocolate, and then you pick up
Yeah, yeah,
pack your chips, which is taking you off. Whereas now it's
yeah,
more okay, cool. I don't need to do that, which is quite good that you've done as well. You kind of briefly touched on it on like how your day is now, but I want to ask you because thing, it's a time thing. We get asked a lot of time, or we hear a lot. I don't have time for this.
yeah.
You have turned around a lifestyle where you're busy before. You're still
Mm,
as busy, but now you do your walks, you prep your food or think about your food. You
yeah,
now make sure your walks are happening, you make sure gym's happening. Whereas before it was like, no, no, I can't go gym at 8.
yeah,
So
yeah.
how have you found this time now? Whereas before you didn't
Yes.
have it.
It's a really good question. And I think this is one of the best things about the program, in all honesty, is planning, right? Like, I'm quite upset about myself that I didn't think about this in advance because I live my professional life is all about planning, right? But it's like, planning half an hour on a Sunday
Mhm.
ahead of the week to be like, right, it's this for food wise. On these days, I've got a work thing on this day, or I've got a friends thing on this day. Need to be more mindful during the day about that. Actively thinking about like planning ahead, even for a week, is not difficult at all. And you can find those 30 minutes at any time, right? I'm a big football fan. Obviously, I know
Yeah.
Vinay's a big Arsenal fan, so we kind of
No.
clash a little bit there,
Yeah.
right? But even whilst you're watching the football game, right? If you can sit there on MyFitnessPal for half an hour, plan out your meals in advance, right? Lunch, dinner, whatever it may be, right? You can plan it out 30 minutes in advance. You've lost no time, most importantly, because you're still doing what you wanted to do and you're still planning out for that week ahead, right? So, I think planning is the biggest thing that has sort of helped me get through this process. And that
Yeah.
planning extends to like, the walks and the activity side of things as well, right? Like, I will know, at least a couple of days in advance, like, okay, look, Thursday's going to be a long day. I can't go to gym that evening, right? Or actually, look, Wednesday, I'll probably be home a bit earlier. I
Mhm.
can definitely get a gym session in then, right? And, when you break it down that way, 3 gym sessions a week of about 40 to 50 minutes or however long it is actually not that difficult to squeeze in. Even when you're in, my position when you're working 70 to 80 hours a week, you've
Yeah.
got early meetings, late meetings, this, that, you don't even live near the office or whatever, you can always get it in. And I think the biggest shift is accepting that a little bit first. And it's kind of like a bit of an educational journey, right? All of a sudden you think, oh, no, no, I can't. I've had like 6 meetings today and I've got
Mhm.
about 5 minutes to myself. I don't want to go to the gym for those five
Yeah.
minutes. Whereas actually, okay, my first meeting's at 9:30 in the morning. I need to get to the office for 9. If I'm up by 7 a.m., I can get a 50-minute session in the
That's it.
morning. Or equally, look, I'm back at, okay, let me come back half an hour earlier today, 7:30, in for the gym at 8. And if I need to finish off working, I can do it at home, right? You mentioned the whole like COVID thing as well earlier when we were speaking.
Yeah.
That has its benefits as well, right? If you're in an office job or you have the ability to work from home and you've got the flexibility around that, use that and see how it can work for your own personal life as well,
Yeah.
right? If you can work around the clock, you can always work your gym around the clock as well, right? And I think that structure and that ability to think a little bit about that ahead of time is sort of where I've seen the biggest results.
And that's it. It's adapting and planning, as you said, right? Like I think you hit it on a nail. Apart from the fact you call me, apart from the fact that you said I support Arsenal, which is wrong. Um, you know,
Ah,
uh, I think I'm the same as you, Liverpool. So but I want to talk about that right now. But like the planning, as you said, right? When you're watching stuff like that, you're watching the game, or as you said, right? If you might decided, actually on a Monday morning, I'm gonna get off half an hour early to go walk to the work off the station. While you're walking, bro, just how long does it take to plan? Okay, I'm gonna have this, this, and this, right? What planning thing? I'll give you a perfect example. My missus started work again. I've got two kids.
yeah.
My little one's not starting nursery till like mid-Jan still. And I'm like, oh
Mm,
crap, what do I do? I could easily go on a down route of like, you know what, actually, I'll do homework, I'll do this or not. But yes, I try not to. Yes, it's my job as well, technically speaking, coaching
mm,
and stuff like that. I'm at gym at 4:30 in the morning, bro, or 5 o'clock. And people message me on Instagram about like all clients as well, and like, how do you do it? I'm like, wake up. It's difficult. 4:30 is not I wake up, turn my alarm off. I'm like, oh God, you know what? Like, let me close my eyes for 5 minutes. I guarantee if
Yeah.
I do that, it'll be six next thing, kids are up and it's not happening. But as soon
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I'm up and I'm physically up, 1 or 2 days is hard. You push through and you do it. And perfect
Yeah.
example I tell everyone is if your work told you to do this, what I'm telling you to do, you do it without you asking questions. If your work said
100%.
to you, hey guys, we've realized that everyone's coming in, we've given you, because a lot of the corporate jobs give you access to gyms or discounted gyms,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And a perfect example, let's say in your role, let's say your building's got a gym and they're like, you know what, we're going to pay for your gym. Your work's paying for it now. And they're like, okay, that part of your contract is now that you got to hit 3 times a week, swipe your card. You'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't be asked. The first 2, 3 days, people will complain. But they'll be like, well, it's your job. Either you do it or you kind of hit the deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
You show up. You make sure you wake up the half an hour early
Mm.
because you have the fear of, okay, I can't lose my job and stuff. But at the same time, your health's important, right?
Yeah.
You are now what 18 or just about 19 kgs down, thinking clearer, more better, more fitter. I'm sure your work's improved. Your thinking, just
Mm.
your stress levels, everything's changed as well. So it's not just about yes, let's drop the kgs on a scale. But as I said,
Mm.
Affinity, we want to be stand out to say we help people change lifestyle. A standard Gujarati boy, shall I say, eating homemade food, roti shaak, dal bhats, when you're going out to your in-laws and stuff like that, or missus' house and stuff, it's literally dokra, samosas, all that kind of stuff. Because they
Yeah.
feel, oh shit, son is coming over, let's treat him. You
Yeah.
managed
Yeah.
all that, fine, balancing work. So you definitely like, in my eyes, like great 6 months, which is really, really good. But
Yeah.
in that times, I know we've had moments or calls where you're like, Vinay, it's not going right.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling great. Which leads me to my next question, which is like, how have you dealt with the last 6 months when you wake up, you're like, oh, I feel shit. Motivation's not there. The
Yeah.
scale's not dropped in like 3, 4 days or whatever it is. Like things are going in your head. Like, is it worth it? What have you done then?
Yeah. So it's a very good question. I think there's a couple of things, right? The first one is, you know, this is a change in a lifestyle. It's not like it's not got a fixed expiry date, right? Like a carton of milk, right? You know, it's a day by day approach, right? You know, just because not every day is a good day, that doesn't mean every day is a bad day equally as well, right? You know, some days will be bad, some days will be good. It's like
Yeah,
life, right? You know, work, life, family, friends, whatever. Not every day is a good day, right? I think keeping like sight of the fact that, you know, maybe today's a bad day, maybe it was the last 2 days were a bad day, that doesn't mean that you shift in that mindset and that mentality to think this is the new approach to it, right? Living it on a day by day basis and tackling how you would any other task, like moment by moment, is really what helped me kind of get through it as well. So
yeah,
I'd say that. And the second one is actually the support network. So I was actually someone who was quite not afraid per se, but didn't really want to make it evident to everyone that I was like on this new found journey or whatever you want to call
yeah,
it, right? But actually opening up and speaking about it with those that you feel most comfortable with is the best way to, you know, sort of get through those difficult moments, right? Because ultimately it's your friends and family that are there to support you through thick and thin, and this is no different, right? You know, my partner, my family, my friends have all been super supportive of like this journey. And like you say, sometimes it's difficult to really bring them in on that journey until you start to see meaningful results, whether it's like a t-shirt size dropping or kgs here or there or whatever.
yeah,
But for me, the earlier I did that and the earlier I sort of let people know about that journey, the better it was for me because then I had more people to rely on when, you know, the days were tough, right? And don't get me wrong, like for me, September through to December is the busiest period of work generally. And it's also depressing, right? Outside, 4 p.m. is dark. You wake
yeah,
up, it's dark, like it's raining, it's cold, it's whatever, right? And you know, you feel really demotivated at times, right? But then, you know, having the friends or the family that have just got back from the gym or this or someone that sent like a picture of their 10,000 steps done today or what someone else is at today, it really keeps you going. So it's that
yeah,
support network, right? And you know, the affinity guys are very good at that as well. You know, at first I thought, you know, to be completely transparent, it was a little bit like cringy almost, like people are on this journey and you're sending pictures of this and that. I was like, well, like what does that mean, right? But actually, you know, and you flick through the group chat or you flick through the support or you see all the Instagram stories, this, that, it really does motivate you actually, because, you know, even if someone sent a picture of their meal here or someone sent a picture of their watch here, or, you know, you're doing one of the challenges that the guys put on, you're almost in it together with
yeah,
someone else, right? And you know, it's that change in mindset and lifestyle as well that I keep coming back to. It's like you're on your journey. There's other people on their own journey, and like having that support network around you is ultimately what kept me going through the dark moments.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's just like I say to all my clients, it's you versus you, but sometimes you need someone to kind of pick you up a bit when you're, you know, um, down a bit or things are not moving. Because I remember having that one call with you where you're like, oh, when weight's not moving, weight's not moving, like what's happening?
Yeah,
And literally, I think we give off the call 2 days later, bam, drop. Like it's just understanding that, as you said, like 1 or 2 days might not go to plan, but that's where people give up. And if you give up, then it's like it's
mm,
pointless. Like you've done 2 months of good work. Yes, you might feel like you've hit a plateau, but it's just the body going through phases. You're changing your lifestyle. Your body's it's going to go through changes. There's
yeah,
no way
yeah.
around it, right? But look, hands to you. You've done it well. You managed it well, which is really, really good. Um, if you're to on a touching on the last question, if you're to basically give 3 pieces of tips or advice or motivation, anyone in your shoes at the moment, or when you first started, the way you felt, or people lacking motivation right now, it could be new clients or people listening to this on Instagram, on Spotify, or anything, or even someone who's currently on a journey at the moment and say, you know what, shit, 3 pieces of
Yeah.
advice from you to say, what would you do?
So I think the first thing I'd say is don't wait till tomorrow. It's very easy to kick the can down the road and be like, especially around this time of year. Oh, it's December. I'll start in January, right? Everyone's a new flex in January. Everyone's
Yeah,
health conscious. Let me start then. Or actually, you know what? Let me start on Friday, right? 'Cause I've got this big social that's coming up this week and I want to get that out of the way first. Or let me do this, let me do that. There's no time like the moment, right? Your health is not getting any better. You're not getting any younger. And, time is going to pass. And, the sooner you get onto this journey, the easier it actually is as well, right? The first stage is always like acceptance of anything, right? If you want
yeah,
to do something better for yourself, there's no time like the moment, right? So I'd say, you know, try and overcome that and sort of, put the hard yards in early and take that leap of faith almost. So I'd say that that's point one. Point two is stick at it. You've got a lot of friends, family, coaches, support, materials, everything out there which is built for you. And you just touched on it, right? No two people's bodies, minds, and lifestyles are the same. They're not, right? It's just we're all human,
yeah,
right? We're all different. But everyone's on your own journey and you're on your own journey for you, not for anybody else, ultimately, right? Use the people around you and figure out what the journey is for you. Just because you see someone else that's lost 10 kilos from 80 to 70 and now has
yeah,
a
yeah,
six pack, that doesn't mean that's your journey, right? You're on your own journey for you. You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for anyone else, right? And so use that network and that support around you to figure out what journey are you actually on. Like it may sound like a really comical question,
mm,
but what are you doing this for? What are you trying to achieve, right? And the second you have that sort of sight and that mentality there, for me, a lot of the dominoes start lining up, right? I think for me, it was probably around like month two or month three or so in where I was
yeah,
like, yeah, I said I wanted to do this initially, and I'm just, kind of going through the motion. But there was a change, there was a light bulb moment, right? Where like I kind of realized that this is a lifestyle thing. This is, changing things around you. And so using that sort of support network to really figure out what that journey is I'd say point two. And point three is like, it's kind of we all live busy lifestyles. We all lead hectic lifestyles. There's some things we can't change, and there's some things we can change.
yeah,
But take each marginal win, and you'll see so quickly how each marginal win builds up to like a massive win, right? That minor change here where you cut out that bag of crisp in your lunch, right? Or that minor change here where you switch from a fizzy drink to water, or you go for 9,000 steps instead of 8,000 steps in a day, those
yeah,
marginal wins all add up. And those wins over time is where you'll start to see the results. And so focus on every small win, like day by day, target by target, goal by goal. If you want to lose 10 kilos, don't think like, okay, my first win is when I get to 10 kilos. It's not, right? Your first
yeah,
win is
yeah.
when whatever it is in your head by the end of that week, or this or that or whatever. So take every marginal win and use that on like a day by day and sort of go from there. But honestly, the team, the network, the platform, everyone else around, around here is, all set up to help you succeed and do what you want to do. And the journey's ultimately yours is what you make of it.
Cheers, bro. It's been great having you. And yeah, thank you for joining me on the podcast. And I hope you all enjoy listening to it. Thank you. Bye.